been amazing over the last 25 years, I would say, just all the people I've been able to meet, right? And that's been, the great highlight. People of all diverse kinds of backgrounds when it comes to keeping and success levels. But I will say, just every once in a while, somebody walks through the door of the show that I wasn't expecting. They weren't a vendor, and they're just a keeper, and they come on through. And that includes a lot of the pet stores I call on. And my but I gotta say, seeing Todd Park just walk through the door one day to come shop SEWERFest and check some things out, that's kind of cool. Just to know that he was willing to take time out of his busy day, and all the success he's had to come see what we're doing at our little reptile show here in Wisconsin.
Hi, everyone. This is Wally from Supreme Gecko. We have a great guest today that's going to talk about SEWERFest. I've been asked, I start promoting and posting on social media about SEWERFest, the reptile show, weeks in advance, and I get a lot of requests. Tell me what SEWERFest is, because I don't understand what a SEWERFest is. And we have Shane, from the coordinator of SEWERFest, here, and he's going to explain what a SEWERFest is. Shane, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Wally. We really appreciate all that support you give us in advertising, weeks in advance and all of that. It really helps to try to bring the community in. But what is a SEWERFest? SEWERFest is the Southeast Wisconsin Exotic Reptile Festival. It is the reptile show that I've been helping to promote for the last 25 years.
25 years. 25. Think about that for a second, folks. That's a long time. That's almost as old as I am. I think I've been vending SEWERFest for over 20 years. I don't think I was an original member, but thank you very much for having me. What makes it's a blast. It's something that I look forward to every single show. What makes SEWERFest unique?
So the beauty of what we try to do with SEWERFest, when I started the show, and I was working in a pet store, and there was another couple shows that were happening, and what was happening was people were bringing in animals, and they didn't have enough knowledge, and we were finding that they were buying a lot of wild caught animals, and it was first time keepers or people who had only had a couple of things, and they were lost, and they were given an animal that might not be in the best situation. And so we set up SEWERFest to be a captive bred only reptile show, and really wanted to bring together that Wisconsin Midwest community. And by bringing everybody captive bred animals and celebrating all the breeders in the area, I think we've really just kind of given it an extra touch that a lot of the other shows don't have.
So are you saying that if somebody attends SEWERFest, they can talk to the vendors, they can actually ask questions? It's not just like going to Walmart and picking up a package and paying money for it. They can actually ask questions to the vendors?
Yeah, that's the part I love about it, is that we actually get to sit with the guy who, or woman who took the time and bred that animal and actually worked with that species. And so you can get even fuller answers. You can do a ton of research on the internet, and you really should, but you're going to get a lot of conflicting things. But also sometimes it's as simple as going, Wally, tell me how to make sure my Pictus geckos don't crash. How do I make sure I have a long-lived Pictus gecko colony? And you can get that little extra tidbit the internet might not give you.
Yeah, and that was kind of a loaded question, because that's my favorite part of any show, any reptile show. And I think really, Shane, and this is a compliment to you and the vendors, especially at SEWERFest, but I think every single vendor is like that. And I that's the one fact that I promote all the time with this show. Give us some facts. How many vendors are we going to see? What kind of animals are we going to see? Is it going to be like, ball pythons and crested geckos? I think this is one of the most diverse shows out there. What kind of animals are we going to see at SEWERFest?
Well, of course you're going to see ball pythons and crested geckos and leopard geckos, and you're going to see those things and the bearded dragons, because those are the staples in the industry, and that's what people like to see, and that's the way a lot of us get into it, and we have variety there. But we really try to make sure that we curate a vendor group that gives us some more diversity than that. We've got hognose, we've got house snakes, garter snakes. Lost the word garter snake for a second there. But you're going to have that variety, and you're going to have a lot of different gecko species, and we're going to have other lizard species. Some uromastyx will be there, blue-tongued skinks will be there. But we're also going to really diving into the world of bugs, tarantulas, all that kind of stuff, plus all the supplies that you need to go with that. And so we're really trying to make sure that there's a little bit of something for everybody.
I love that answer, because you talked about, reptiles, but you also talked about supplies. You also talked about inverts, and this show has just taken over with inverts in a very, very good way. We talk about vendors, we talk about talking to vendors. Um, and again, I'm going to relate to a rather big show here in the Midwest where it feels like more of a cash register situation. Pick up your goods or your animal, pay the cash, and move on. And this is a great place to talk to vendors. I think maybe the best thing that you can do, and you can help me understand this or explain it better. What is the VIP? Talk to me about that because I think that that's an opportunity that is maybe a golden opportunity that more people aren't taking advantage of.
Yeah, the VIP just gives you an extra little hour to get into the show ahead of time before most of the other people are going to be in there. You're going to have the best selection that's going to be there. You might also be able to take just a little bit more time from that vendor to ask a couple extra questions. Usually, the person that's going to come in at that time has a little bit of an idea what they're exactly looking for. So when they get to that table and they go, Wally, I came from some Central American banded geckos. I want to pick up a trio from you. Give me a couple little tips I need to know about your group. How old? What are they eating? All that kind of stuff. You'll have a couple of little extra minutes with that, so you're not, driven down. That said, during the general admission, there's 5 hours of general admission, and I still tell people most of those vendors would rather you solve that problem right there at the table than you picking it up and then calling them in 3 weeks and going, "Hey, I never asked you any of these questions." And now we might have a different problem. They don't want to see you fail. They want to see you coming back every show, picking up the next animal, kind of thing. They don't want it to be a one and done transaction.
Oh my gosh, what a great point. And I can't emphasize this more. Pick up the business cards. Even if you don't purchase an animal from a vendor, you might the next time, but more importantly, you have that information. If you buy an animal, you better be grabbing that business card so that you can communicate with that vendor afterwards. I actually like the idea of walking around a couple of times and seeing all the vendors. If you find something you like, grab it, talk to the vendor, grab it, but walk around and get a feel for the show, talk to people. Now, saying that, this is the 25th anniversary. Congratulations. Thank you for doing this so long. But this
Thank you. Thank you.
show,
We laughed the other day. I think the show can now rent a car. I think we've reached that point.
I think you're right. This show for the 25th anniversary, are you doing anything special?
So we've been trying to have a little extra special fun with it. This being the third show of the year, we were able to expand the show by almost 50% and just bring in extra vendors to have even more fun with it. For this show, the show's been an extra special one on the calendar for most people. We're not going to have just yourself, the amazing YouTube channel and all that, but you're going to be one of four YouTubers, including adding Dave Kaufman and Snake Discovery to the show.
Yes.
So Snake
Yes.
Discovery will be in attendance doing their meet and greet as well as having animals. Dave will be there with some animals for sale. He'll have his Herpers movies usually for sale on the table and all of that. So you'll be able to meet some great influential people in the industry. You never know who's coming through that door, and so it's been amazing to see all those people join us to help us celebrate.
JP Lizard, stop by our table, stop by Snake Discovery, stop by Dave's table, stop by mine, take a picture. There's nothing that will explode my head bigger than somebody saying, "Hey, I saw you on YouTube and I laughed at you." That's usually what they say. But take a grab a picture with us and post it on social media. That would mean the world to us. And
Having gotten to know all four of the YouTube channels, every one of you will tell me that the greatest part of it is just having that fan come up to them and go, you help me expand my collection, expand my interest, and all of that, and so it really makes a difference on what we do in the community.
Absolutely. And again, post pictures. Take a picture, post pictures. Now, speaking of pictures, you have a new social media manager, I heard. They are doing an amazing job. And speaking of such, I think they need to continue and you need to pay them more. That's what I think.
I don't know about that.
For
Well, you're
anybody
referring
here,
to my daughter. My daughter has really stepped up. She's a marketing major in college. She'll be graduating this May. And as part of that, she really wanted to insert herself and know how she could help out with the show some more and helps give her some experiences that she's been able to bring back to the classroom and kind of set her up for success. And she's had ideas and doing some of the stuff with our social media that I never would have thought of. And so it's been amazing. She's learned those things. Glad that money I'm putting towards her college is paying off. And SewerFest has helped her get through college. So it's been more ways than one. It's been a great thing for the whole family.
Thank her from us. She's doing a wonderful, wonderful job. If anybody's watching this that's passionate about SewerFest, the one thing that you can do is take pictures, post about the event, post a picture about SewerFest, and let people know. Let people know on social media. That's how we get the word out. I want to ask you a question. 25 years, 25 years. I still, it's hard for me to fathom 25. I guess I blinked and I lost 25 years. Tell me one thing at SewerFest, besides when you received the first vendor submission form from Supreme Gecko, that really is a highlight of 25 years of SewerFest.
It's been amazing over the last 25 years, I would say, just all the people I've been able to meet, right? And that's been, the great highlight. People of all diverse kinds of backgrounds when it comes to keeping and success levels. But I will say, just every once in a while, somebody walks through the door of the show that I wasn't expecting. They weren't a vendor, or, and they're just a keeper, and they come on through. And that includes a lot of the pet stores I call on in my day job. But I got to say, seeing Ty Park just walk through the door one day to come shop SewerFest and check some things out. That's kind of cool, just to know that he was willing to take time out of his busy day, and all the success he's had to come see what we're doing at our little reptile show here in Wisconsin.
Little reptile show, which I think is now one of the biggest reptile shows in the Midwest. And I've said this for years, it's kind of like a smaller version of the national show, but a little bit more casual, a little bit more, you can talk to people. I'm looking forward to this next show. Again, what's the date?
The next show's coming up on Sunday, December 7th.
Again, don't blink, folks, because it's going to be here just like that. I want to thank you again. I can't thank you enough, Shane, for, hosting this event, but I'm going to say it even more so. Thank you very much for helping the vendors, because you have a vested interest. Obviously, you have a biased interest in helping the vendors, but you have a vested interest in making them, aware of how to do their vending better. You have an interest in the people coming to the show, the attendees. More importantly, and this is the biggest thank you from me personally and the community I know from talking to them, is how you build this community. I don't ever feel like, there's a business reason behind what you're doing, ever.
No, I greatly appreciate that. I'll be honest, earlier this year, I was talking to a friend of mine who's been a longtime keeper for 40, 50 years, and he was talking about being burnt out. And I saw where he was coming from. It can be easy to do. I've been keeping reptiles for 36 years, but then I went to the show and watched just the excitement out of a child's face, just being able to see everything, and it makes it easy to do. And it makes it so easy to want to just keep getting out there and bringing the community together, giving everybody another option just to exchange ideas, exchange animals, and have some fun with it.
I can't agree more. Coming away from a show like SewerFest, you would think that as a vendor we would be, oh, that's done, and kind of check mark. But I'm reinvigorated every single time I finish a show from talking to people and sharing the passion, and I hope the other vendors are as well. Again, thank you very much. It's coming up soon, folks. Share, post, put some comments in there. Come to SewerFest. Bring your kids. Talk to the vendors. And if you see Shane, thank him and give him a good pat on the back. Thank you very much, Shane, for doing. Yeah, stop by and say hi. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.